Mic check. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me all right? How's the day so far? Where are we tuning in from? Awesome. Hi Sarah. Happy Tuesday. Happy full moon. Welcome in everybody. Yes, strong energy today. We're just getting started this afternoon. Where y'all tuning in from? How's your day so far? How's the audio? You hear me all right? Is the microphone working on your side? Go get to work, Kaylee. It's good to see you, dude. I'm happy to jump in on your FY. Loud and clear. Love to see it. Welcome in, welcome in. Have fun as well. We're going to be reading some cards today. I mean, of course, you can play in the background if you want. Hope you have a beautiful Tuesday. Of course, my dude. Happy full moon. Good to see you, Kaylee. Welcome in, welcome in. Ciao, sorry. Come va? Big hearts. How's today, everybody? How are you feeling? Getting some strong energy this afternoon, yesterday evening, this full moon. Gotta love Scorpio energy, no? Taurus sun, moon's in Scorpio, reaches peak full this evening, like 7:54 Eastern time, I think. So we're going to be reading for all 12 houses today. Full moon readings for the collective. Starting with Aries, making it all the way to Pisces, house number 1 to house number 12. Reading for each of the Zodiacs. Hi. Welcome in, fellow Pisces friend. Save the best for last, yes. House number 12. Though we'll begin with Aries, house number 1, in just a moment, but we'll let some other dudes jump in the room. See if anybody else needs to hear the messages. So if you can hear me clearly, would you mind clicking the screen a couple times so we can get this live stream fresh on the feed? If anybody else wants to jump into the room before we get started this afternoon. And while we're here, maybe introduce yourself, say what's good, where you're tuning in from, what you're grateful for today. My name is Gavin, aka Zen the Alchemist. It's good to see you. Welcome in. I've been reading cards on TikTok for about 3 years now, 5 years in my person, in this life. And I'm excited to see what they have to say today. Welcome from Missouri, Amber. Master 11. What does that mean? Tixella. Couple Cancer suns in the house. Welcome from Florida. Glad you made it to the beach yesterday. Welcome, Liberty from the Pacific Northwest. Life path number. That's right. Mine's 33. Groovy. Absolutely. Do you know your life path number? Super strong Cancer energy. We'll get to house number 4 in a moment. We'll begin with Aries, then we'll make our way to Taurus, then to Gemini, to Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Sagittarius. Just kidding. I was seeing if you're paying attention. Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. Of course it's the Scorpio full moon. Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. I'm excited to get started. I'm ready. I'm curious. Are you? If you're ready for these cards today to see what they have to say, would you mind dropping the sunflower emoji down there in the comments and click the screen a couple times? Maybe share this live stream to somebody, or even not even send it to anybody. Just hit the copy of the link down there. The algorithm always appreciates that. What's good, Tiny? Welcome in. We're stoked to get started. Awesome. Awesome. Angel Eyes. 11, I see y'all. Thanks for the sunflowers. Let's get right to it. Those who are meant to be here will be here. Cards, we're excited. Thank you for this moment. Thank you to our guides and our guardians, our angels, our aliens, our ancestors watching over us. What a gift it is to be here with y'all today. I'm excited to see what these cards have to say. We're going to begin with Aries, house number 1. Aries is where it all begins. Initiation. Aries is taking action. It's initiation, like I said. It's inspiration. It's fire. In the cardinal sense, it's the spark that begins the flame. We begin here with house number 1, Aries, today, to see if there are any messages for the collective. Whether you have Aries sun, moon, ascendant, Mars placement, Mars being a ruling planet of Aries. Let's see what the message is. Any clarity, any guidance, any signs or synchronicities, any words of wisdom today for house number 1. We shuffle the cards to clear the energy. We cut the deck. We let it rest. We flow forward. Awesome. I like it. Very important reminder moving forward here. House number 1, Aries, to begin. Only one card right side up, and that is here, the 8 of Swords in the root, Lord of Shortened Force. 8 of Swords for the collective. We also have the 8 of Cups here, reverse, in the draw. Lord of Abandoned Success. Lord of Abandoned Success, Lord of Shortened Force. We have the Princess of Wands here, reverse for the collective as well. For Aries, house number 1, Princess of the Shining Flame. And we have Schooled, the goddess of the future, once more around the corner. I'm sensing some resistance along the flow, along the path. And this is an indicator, a point of reflection to ask, is this really what's meant to be happening right now, or is it time to redefine or redirect, to adapt? See, with the Lord of Shortened Force being the only card here right side up in the root, it's as if this, with house number 1 being initiation, new beginnings, it's as if there is something inhibiting this new beginning. There's something shortening the force, whether that be an obstacle or one's own limiting beliefs. Ultimately, it can be one and the same. And now we're being called to let go of that shortened force, to let go of that weight, to abandon that thing that we might be holding on to that is inhibiting our flame. Because in order to step into the future, we must let go of the past. We must surrender it, otherwise we'll keep recreating the past time and time and again if that's all we're focused on. Everything is cyclical and everything plays according to patterns. The more we can be intentional and clear with the patterns that we're playing out, the more that we can then step into this direct, focused, intentional flame, which is really what we are here to do in this house number 1, is reminding us to not allow the obstacles or the challenges along the journey to obstruct or discourage us, but to see them with a sense of stoke right now I'm being reminded of the energy of Goku, who is an individual who looks forward to beating up bad guys because he thinks it's fun to train. And so this is almost like a sadistic way of like looking at our challenges and our problems. Like wow, I'm actually excited that I have the capacity to overcome this difficulty within my life. And it's like kind of warped. I recognize the Delulu in that, and at the same time, like I don't think it's wrong. But I think that right now, really, especially with this full moon, it's a perfect time to obliterate whatever it is that we are ready to start shifting into, whatever it is that's creating that gap, that's shortening that force. It's time to abandon that. Maybe it was something that we once thought was going to be good for us too, and that maybe that's why it's challenging. Maybe that's why we've been holding on for some time. Maybe that's why we've been going through like all of the hoops and loops and trying to get it to work, but you can't force the flow ultimately, and this is where it's time and important to recognize when it's time to let go. And as I just said before, if we want to step into the future, we must let go of the past. And that's really where we're being called right now. Like, what is holding my flame back? In what ways can I shine brighter to burn, to obliterate, to dissolve any limiting beliefs, patterns, worries, doubts, fears, anything that is shortening my force, whether those be my own actions or relationships or a lack of boundaries or an inability to communicate my truth. I feel like all of us can take something from this, though this is directed towards Aries as we are beginning for the first house for full moon readings this afternoon. But you know, we all have a house number 1 in your chart, and that is indicated by your rising sign. So if you aren't familiar with where your first house is, I would recommend you look up and check into your natal chart where your rising sign is. And I think it's so important that we can learn how to be, because sometimes the really awesome thing about Aries being the ram, they can be so hard-headed. So like that's an awesome feature of house number 1. Like that's that resilience, that's that persistence, that's that like a lack of a care for how anybody might feel, because you know what's right in your heart, and you know you're just going to charge forward, horns ablazing. Ultimately, I think it's important that we remind and remember that energy for house number 1, to stay focused and to step into this fire. Yeah. All right, groovy. I like it. I'm here for it. If you like that message, go ahead and drop me your favorite Aries emoji down there in the chat, whether it be fire, flame, the Aries symbol, or a goat, or a ram. Excuse me, a ram. Either way, we're going to keep flowing today. I'm stoked. I like it. Next up, we have Taurus, house number 2. For all my Taurus babes in the house, house number 2 represents our values, what we hold near and dear to our core, how we show ourselves up in the world. Yes, indeed. House number 2 is represented by Taurus, ruled by Venus, the planet of love, desire, romance. Yes. Taurus. Today, let's see what these cards have to say. We're stoked to get started. The beautiful thing about meaning in life is that you give meaning to everything that you do. We are the meaning-making machines, ultimately. The Zodiac, astrology is a language, a way of organizing energy, archetypal configurations and patterns of the universe. And now for Taurus, house number 2. It looks like no Aries in the house resonated with that message, but that's okay. We're going to keep it flowing for the collective. For any Taurus, Sun, Moon, Ascendants, house number 2 today, wherever this falls into your chart. Any words of wisdom, any insight, any guidance, any clarity, signs of synchronicities. Let's do this. I like it. That was sassy. Do we have any Taurus in the house? Do you know your big 3? All right. House number 2. These cards jumping everywhere. Talking to me clearly. Ready. I love it. Indeed. As I said, talk to me clearly. We have number 22, Iris, the goddess of communication, for you. The collective. Taurus. As I mentioned, house number 2 represents our values, represents what we hold near and dear, represents our fortune, represents the core, the body. We have here the Nine of Pentacles, Lord of material gain for the collective. See, the houses, they represent the archetypal energies depicted by the Zodiacs. Here we have the Queen of Wands, the Queen of the Thrones of Flame. And we have the Lovers here, Children of the Voices, right side up in the root. For Taurus, house number 2, beneath the Scorpio full moon, this energy of just learning how to communicate from an open-hearted space, which I feel Taurus folk do naturally, at least from my own personal experience. And maybe for the collective and anybody just being reminded that this is an energy that we're being reminded to tap into, because like begets like, and thus for example, someone just moments ago commented some obscenity unnecessarily projecting their nonsense, and I could have chosen to meet on such a level, or what I chose to do was simply just mute the individual, and to me in that space was the most loving thing to do at that time, for the space itself and for the practice of the tarot, for the language of the Zodiac. It's really wild how moving forward with even just like a positive way of perceiving the world can alter our entire experience, especially in a world that's like consistently projecting a negative narrative onto the populace. It's so important to learn how to embrace this experience with an open heart as a lover. See, life itself can be our lover, and as we stand in our values, as we stand true to our core, this is how we learn how to root in these spaces. And this is where the Queen of Wands here is reminding us that this is becoming our base frequency. Like, for the lovers, for the people who are showing up and doing the work, like, everything is playing out perfectly. I'm reaching this new level of embodiment, this maturation, this evolution, and perhaps it's been very uncomfy and challenging. Perhaps we're even going through a cycle like that currently. And yet at the same time, seeing around the corner, everything is clear. So the more you can communicate from a space of clarity rather than a place of being triggered, rather than a place of being in pain. I think that's really important. Because ultimately, people who speak negativity in space are really just in pain. Because hurt people attempt to hurt people, right? And learning how to love even the pain. And I'm not saying you go and seek the pain, though what I'm saying is through the process of loving the pain, we can practice alchemy and transmute whatever is being presented to us, whatever energy, whatever form it may be taking at that moment in time. And I think right now with house number 2, because I think a lot of times when people think of Taurus, they just think of money, they think of just zeros and dollar signs, but that's not what values are. We give the value to whatever it is in our life based on how we appreciate that. There's a reason why these terms are utilized in financial capacity as well, though ultimately what real wealth is health and well-being, peace of mind, peace in the heart. And when we can tap into this energy, we lead from this space. This is how we begin to transcend the illusion of money, and we don't define our well-being and our wealth just based on the check. Like, that's not really what it's about, or the superfluous surface level ways of showing one's well-being. Like, the True wealth is well-being. And learning how to engage with this life from a sense of being in love with life is the best way we can go about that. And I think that Taurus reminds us this, especially with Taurus. The way I see Taurus, it's like Mother Earth, the one who holds everything in her heart and who supports us every single day, every step of the way. We don't have to ask for anything, but Mother Earth is holding us up right now. And these bodies come from Mother Earth too. So learning how to move from that space, from this space of reverence and awareness, is a major shift. It's a major shift, and it's important. It's natural, and it's healthy. I think the more that we can tap into like our own connection to being in love with life, learning how to cultivate that is really necessary right now, more than ever. And then learning how to communicate from that space too. And recognizing, like, I mean, I'm speaking to myself right now, like, there's no need to hold back. There's no need to hold back. Like, when you feel like maybe you're being too much, that's probably a time when it's time to lean in. Because if you're being too much, if you're actually, like, offending or causing harm, someone will say something. But if it's on your own limiting beliefs that are, like, projecting this narrative onto your psyche, oh, like, how will they receive me? It's probably important to lean into that even more, because when you're like, wait, they do receive me, I'm like, I am seen and I'm allowed to be seen and no one's offended that I'm taking up this much space, then that provides a greater capacity for confidence. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And we keep it flowing. What's good, dudes? Welcome in. Welcome in. Happy full moon. I like it. I like it. We're shuffling these cards, Taurus. Very gentle, very important, affirming reading. Just out here talking to myself. We're going to keep it moving with Gemini, house number 3. I like it. Yes, indeed. Taurus, Sun, Scorpio, Moon. What are the words for the collective today? House number 3 is all about communication. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication. Verbalization, vocalization, spells, mental energy, what you hold in your mind, what you focus on. Wherever you have a Gemini placement, whether it be Sun, Moon, Ascendant, maybe you have 3rd house, or maybe you have Mercury. Let us see what these cards have to say today for the collective. Any insight, any words of wisdom, any direction? Let's get right to it. We're focused, flowing, in the zone. Good to see you, my dudes, out here. For you, house number 3, Gemini, we cut the deck, we clear the energy, we keep shuffling. Five houses in Gemini. That's fun. That's strong. For you tonight, Gemini. We cut it. We clear it. Let it rest. Solid cards on the table. Let's get to it. With Gemini being house number 3, house of communication, house of vocalization, verbalization, as I was just mentioning, the goddess we get is Parvati, the goddess of devotion. And the message right off the bat we're being reminded is we're nothing more than the stories we tell ourselves. We have the Star card here, Daughter of the Firmament, the Hanged Man here, Spirit of the Mighty Waters. We have the Ten of Swords here in reverse, Lord of Ruin, Gemini Sun. Ain't it amazing that we're literally reading for Gemini right now and we get the Gemini Sun card in the root? And here, Lord of Perfected Work, extra card for Gemini, 4 of Wands in reverse. We're nothing more than the stories we tell ourselves. The things that we tell ourselves on a consistent basis, these are the stories that we're devoted to. What stories are you devoted to? Mic check, are we here? Can you hear me clear? What stories are you devoted to? Learning how to recognize our own personal biases, the beliefs, the perceptions, the ideas that we're holding on to that are ready to be let go, ultimately. See, the Hangman here is a perfect time for reflection, to redirect or recenter our perspective. And the Star card is where we're focusing. Instead of all the things that we can be focusing on, the ruins, we're here to focus on the cosmos, the stars, and the intergalactic plan playing out. We must recognize, we must focus on, we must look at the roots that are causing ruin within our life. We must radically accept them, become real, and be like, okay, this is what's happening right now. It is what it is. I'm going to choose to move forward. And this is the path of perfected work. And this is where it's so important to ask, okay, like, what stories am I telling myself? And it can even just be boiled all the way down to Thomas the Train to some degree. Of I think I can, knowing that we can do anything that we put our minds to. And I know you've been hearing this all your life, but it's really what it's all about. Everything is mental at the end of the day. Mercury reminds us this, the ruling planet of Gemini, house number 3. And we've got 2 more days until the end of Mercury retrograde. It's the 25th, I believe. So this is like, maybe we're seeing a lot of things dissolve, collapse, break away. Maybe we're being called to let go of relationships or habits or jobs or beliefs, patterns. And now we're flowing forward because we're asking, okay, what has been causing ruin within my life, and what am I ready to let go of? And how can I continue to realign in a way that's true to me and honoring my own personal star essence, my cosmic nature, who you are in your core eternally beyond just this body and the birth certificate and the name, but who you are as a soul, and learning how to devote yourself to this path and this process of embodying and stepping into your soul, realizing its divinity, ultimately. Yup. Fun stuff. We're doing it every single day. Whether we realize it or not, but the more we realize it, the more real it becomes. The more conscious and clear and intentional we become with it, the more real it becomes. And that's simply learning how to see the Creator within and all around thee. At least that's what I tell myself. Thanks, Gemini. House number 3. I love it. The fact that we got Gemini Sun card there for the Gemini reading, it's a really good sign. Synchronicities are on point right now. We're going to keep it flowing for house number 4. Sun, Moon, Ascendant, Cancer. Ruled by the Moon for you today. Let's do this. Whether it's happening or not, it becomes real. I mean, perhaps. Does it? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out. I tell myself a lot that nothing is real. So. That's what I've learned in my journeys thus far. That nothing is real. And ultimately, I know nothing. House number 4 today. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Ascendants for you. Let's keep it flowing. Any messages, any clarity, signs, or synchronicities beneath this full moon. Any words for you, my dudes. Let's do this. Alrighty, here it is. House number 4 today for the collective. We cut the deck, we clear it. Strong cards on the table. I like it. Let's start here. So house number 4 represents our home, yes? If number 3 is communication, number 4 is the space that holds that communication. We have number 1, the goddess of adaptation, adaptability, Ayn here, the queen of the fae, queen of the fairy realm. For the collective today, Ayn. We have the death card here in reverse for house number 4, child of the great transformers. We have the 7 of wands here, lord of valor. We have the princess of pentacles reverse in the root, princess of the echoing hills. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Ascendants. This message, I'm seeing immense evolution in one's embodiment. It's as if there's greater definition occurring around one's riverbank. See, Cancer being cardinal water, reminding us that flow is everything. When water stays in one place too long, it becomes stagnant, and that's when decay begins. We must learn how to adapt in order to keep flowing, ultimately. And Cancer is the original sign of intuition and listening to our soul, since it's ruled by the moon, and the moon is the ruling planet of one's internal environment, one's inner light, one's soul, learning how to embody from this space. Pentacles is the element of earth, learning how to stand firm, stay strong. Decay does bring new life. Yes, there is no life without death, absolutely, and we must rise from the ashes, ultimately. And that is the energy that we're receiving right here. It appears that maybe it feels that everything has just completely been shifted. And now we're here to rebuild from the ground up, ultimately. The best thing about rock bottom is you can only go up from there, I think. And building a house from that space has a really strong foundation. Cancer house number 4, being the house of the home, is asking us, like, what does my house stand for? What values does my home represent? And right now I'm getting this energy of victory. I'm getting this energy of complimentary energy, as if you were like an underdog that just achieved a win, basically a big W. This Lord of Valor, Lord of Valor. Valor is like the energy of a victor. It's like somebody who has been accomplished, somebody who moves forward with a sense of pride, with a sense of focus, but not in a way that is like boasting. It's really grounded. And so this is where it's like super important to continue to lean into this. And I feel like this is a challenging win to accept as well, because I feel like it wasn't a pretty one, and maybe there was a lot of drama. Let's just say that, to be light with our words. Drama. Maybe there was trying to think of the word that it's like the name of Shakespearean plays. I can't remember at this moment in time. It'll probably come to me in a second. Beat up but still standing. Definitely, exactly. Like, it was not a fight that was easy, but it's like that which is real remains. And sometimes we have to go through these chapters of like complete like leveling to burn away whatever that is not true or in resonance with who we are becoming in the path that we are stepping into. Because the truth is eternal and cannot be threatened. And so sometimes, like, when like these big floods happen, these great resets occur, the truth will always remain. You cannot destroy the house of God. And I think that's what Cancer is here to remind us today, is that at least the way in which I'm receiving it, and learning how to tap into that within one's own right, and learning how to recognize, like, if you're here listening to this, like, there's a potential that you do a really good job, and it's an important role for you to stay here as a pillar. Yeah, being resilient. Because, you know, as they say, one candle has the ability to light 10,000 flames. And out of the 9 billion people in the world and the 20 people in this room, may God be with you. Absolutely, though. It's like learning how to build that fortitude within, that fortitude, that fortress, that inner strength, that inner sanctuary, and then learning how to engage with the world from that space. And this is where these cycles of transition are necessary. And, you know, sometimes we go through these cycles where we didn't think we were going to make it, but we do. And this is where we must persist and stay resilient, stay focused, and adapt and evolve. Otherwise, we decay. Which is also an important aspect, but you and your truth cannot decay. For the soul is eternal, and the soul cannot be tainted. Only that which is real is eternal. And we keep it flowing. Thank you, Cancer. We love that energy. House number 4. Thank you to the moon. We're going to keep it flowing with Leo, my dude's sun, moon, ascendant. Leo is house number 5. It's the pride. It's your Romance, it's your desires, it's your shine, it's your light. Ruled by the sun, Leo, for you, my friends. Any messages, any clarity, signs, or synchronicities? Any guidance, any wisdom? For the collective, 5th house placements, let's do this. Yes, fixed fire. Center of the solar system. Do we have any Leos in the house? Do you know where your 5th house is? Sun, moon, ascendant. Wherever you have your sun placement for the collective. Let's cut it. Let's clear it. Beneath this moon today, let us see what these cards have to say. First and foremost, we have the 9 of Wands. 9 of Wands, Lord of great strength for the collective. We have the 4 of Pentacles here in reverse as well. Lord of earthly power. Lord of earthly power. And we have the Queen of Wands here. Also reverse. Queen of the Thrones of the Flame. Always appropriate when we have a fire sign. We're reading for Leo right now, and we have 2 Wands cards. Wands is the element of fire. Fire is all about inspiration, imagination, action, focus. And the goddess for the collective, we have Metis, the goddess of wisdom. Reverse. I'm sensing this level up and this balancing of one's new energies, of what you are stepping into. As you've put on your crown as the queen, it's now learning how to balance it and basically build the muscles of the neck to stay strong for the new weight that's held up here. With this 4 of Pentacles, Lord of earthly power in reverse, that's where I'm getting this energy. This is for Leo, the 5th house, for the collective. With the 9 of Wands here in the root, Lord of great strength, we're being reminded that it takes great strength to stay true to our power and our values. It takes strength to listen to wisdom, especially when most people are projecting their own fear, limiting beliefs, doubts, worries. Like, let's say a couple years ago when shit hit the pandemic and everybody was going wild and everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is the end of the world. You need to cover your face holes. And then other people were like, no way, this is nothing worse than the flu. And like they were called like stupid and conspiracy theorists. And then like 2 years later, the CDC was like, oh wait, just kidding, it's really not worse than the flu. Like those people, I mean, I'm sure not all of them were wise. Don't misconstrue this. This is a very minimal example. But for some reason, some individuals felt that like, you know what, this is not that big of a deal. There's something within them telling that, something wiser, to not just like falter and give in to the projections in the narrative. And all the while, the narrative was projecting like demonization on anybody who questioned it, which often happens and always happens. Anybody who questions the narrative of the mainstream is oftentimes seen as a wild animal, shall we say. And I think that right now we're being reminded of the strength that it takes to stay true to our flame. The work required to make sure that it keeps burning. And now, but we've made it here. We've reached a point of no return. So that's the beautiful thing about it. And now it's just like continuing to exercise ourselves and not to allow ourselves to plateau, I suppose. That's what I'm receiving right now. Because there's always ways in which we can well-round and expand or evolve. Of course, maybe once, or maybe eventually we will reach our peak. Though once we reach our peak in one realm, we can shift into another area of our life which we would like to strengthen or grow or evolve. Like maybe we've gotten really good at our work, but maybe our social skills aren't the best. And so like once we've like maxed out on our social skills, on our work, it's time to start working on our social skills. And like that's where learning how to apply this earthly power and tap into one's inner wisdom actually requires strength, because it's so easy to listen to what we're told and the logic and It's not easy to think for oneself. It takes effort. It's silly to even say this, but I feel like a lot of people don't do it. And I feel like this is, for some reason, the intuition wants me to share this with Metis here, the goddess of wisdom. And being reminded, like, there is a lot of value in taking that time to really sit with these things that maybe we aren't necessarily sure about, and to continue to show up from that space of, I don't necessarily know the answers, but I'm not just believing things for face value. I think there's a lot of power in that space. Because when we just take things for face value, we just believe things because that's what we've been told. A lot of times that's from innocence, so I'm not trying to shame anybody who has done such. Though ultimately we're giving our power away. And so this is where it's learning how to believe in ourselves and learning how to honor and trust our internal intuition. Do you think the sun needs to be told how to move through outer space? Fifth house being the house of the sun. I don't think the sun is concerned or worried about its travels. I think it's doing exactly what its heart is telling it to do, basically. I know this is so tacky, but this is really what wisdom is all about, is what I'm receiving right now. And so I just want to share this, just to be reminded to not overlook that, because our inner wisdom speaks through our heart. And this is the heart is the seat of the flame. And learning how to kindle that flame is necessary and crucial, and that is what takes great strength. But ultimately, that is where we find our power. So learning how to befriend yourself and learning how to see yourself as this Queen of Wands energy, and learning how to honor your heart and listening to that inner intuition is crucial and key. I think that's where it's going to really bring you the distance. Regardless of the thoughts and the logic and the need for evidence and rationale. Whenever we need all that stuff, we're starting to steal ourselves the magic of life as well. Life is a beautiful mystery. And the more we can open ourselves up to that, that's so freaky. For some reason, a random song started playing on my phone. It's a mystery. It's so beautiful. I don't know how that just started happening. That was weird, but I like it. Alright, we're keeping flowing. Thanks, Leo. Thanks, house number 5. Some strong energy today. We're going to keep it flowing with house number 6. Virgo, sun, moon, ascendants. Wild. Don't know how it works. Nonetheless. For you today, Virgo is also ruled by Mercury, just like Gemini. However, Virgo, being mutable Earth, represents our body language and how our Earth communicates, how we speak with our physical rather than our words. Actions, yes, solid. 6th house represents our work, but not just a job level of work. This is the work of our soul, why we came here today. Work is life. It doesn't ever stop. It's learning how to define it for ourselves, I think, is one of the greatest challenges in this day and age. Right now, for the collective, any messages for the work? 6th house, Virgo, sun, moon, ascendants, any guidance, any intentions, any clarity? What's the word this afternoon? We cut it, clear it for you. Do we have any Virgos in the house? Service, kindness, awareness, superpowers. House number 6, we get an extra goddess. 1 jumps in as we're shuffling. We draw another. I like it. Strong cards on the table. Another return of the 10 of Swords in the root once more. Lord of Ruin for the collective. House number 6. We have the 3 of Wands here in the draw. Lord of Established Strength, 3 of Wands. And we have the Hierophant here. Magus of the voice of light, the Hierophant here. Reverse for the collective. The goddess that jumped in while we're shuffling, we have Demeter, number 11. And we drew from the top Hecate, 19, the in-between, the goddess of the way. I'm seeing an immense shift in the definition of work itself. I'm seeing a evolution in one's value for oneself and seeing one's own worth, and now being called to put in that work to define that base. See, with the Ten of Swords here, Lord of Ruin, this can be taken in a couple ways, but ultimately I'm receiving it in a way of removing that which is creating ruin within our own life and psyche, and establishing our strength in place, recognizing that it's so important to take time for ourselves with the, I said Hierophant, this is actually the Hermit. The Hermit, the Magus of the voices of light, is reminding us to take time for ourselves to really recognize like who we are and why we're here, and learning how to rid our psyche of any self-destructive patterns and beliefs. And if there's any practice that I could help you in the process of rewiring your nervous system to do away with the infiltrating thoughts, judgments, self-critical ways of perceiving, self-care definitely. I mean, definitely making sure you're getting the right nutrients, you're exercising and stuff like that, living a healthier life, yeah. But like, really what helped me, because I used to have like a really judgmental internal critic, really hurtful internal critic. And these past couple of years, I've been doing a lot of work on that, and the process that's helped me is the practice of mantra and mirror work, of speaking affirmations to myself and looking in the mirror and saying things into my soul, like, I love you, I believe you, I trust you, I honor you, I value you. And then writing those things on my mirror, and then choosing to repeat them time and time and time and again, every time I see myself in the mirror. That within itself is work. Rather than just succumbing to the judgments or the ideas that maybe we've picked up from our journey through the world thus far. Right now we're learning how to nurture ourselves. Like, toxicity is like no more. And with Demeter and Hecate, the goddess of the in-between, for the collective right now, for house number 6, I'm seeing that this is a very big part of the work, is the commitment of cultivating a healthy space, internally and externally, and how they both play out. And so if there's anything within one's life that is creating ruin, it needs to be removed instantaneously. Any roots, any of resentment, any aspects of one's experience that are creating this negativity, like, we do no longer have the capacity for it. Because your heart is so open, you can deal with it. It's not like you don't know how to operate with these things that are creating discomfort, pain, or challenges within your life. It's just that you're no longer ruminating on them. You're not stepping into this victim mentality. You're stepping into this, wait, no, like, I know I have it within me to overcome this. And it's really important to ask, like, okay, do I need to establish boundaries? Do I need to speak up for myself? Do I need to communicate in a way that actually honors all of the work that I've been doing with myself and on myself? I'm seeing this immense sense of level up. But it's not from an egoic or like, oh, I'm better than anybody else kind of energy. It's just recognizing oneself in one's divinity and recognizing how maybe you've been settling and you no longer need to do that and you deserve more, and now's the time to let go of that which is not truly nurturing you, that which is just hitting the bare minimum, if that. It's draining. Yeah, we need something that's going to fill up our cup. And perhaps we're in this in-between, or perhaps we haven't taken these actions yet because we're afraid of that space in between. Though ultimately I feel like this is really what's being encouraged for the collective. And it's work. It ain't easy. And it's so much more than just like a job. This is like your life work. We're learning. They don't teach us this in public school for a very specific reason. But we're going to keep it flowing, nonetheless. Yes. And next we have house number 7, Libra. Libra, sun, moon, ascendants. If 6th house is the work, 7th house is the work we do together. 7th house is how we connect. It's balance, it's relationships. Libra is friendships, business relationships, romance. Libra is communication in conversation. House number 7, ruled by Venus, just like Taurus. Let's see what the message is. Any clarity, any guidance for my friends in house number 7 today. Let's see what the word is. We cut it, we clear it, we let it rest. Do we have any Libras in the house? Anybody from house number 7 out here? Do you know your 7th house placement? Here we cut it, we clear it, we let it rest. We draw 2 from the top, we get an extra one. We flip it upside down. Only royal cards for Libra right now. I love this for you, girl. Let's do this. We'll start here. Ace of Pentacles. In the root. Lord of the roots of the powers of earth for Libra, house number 7. We have the Queen of Cups here, right side up. Queen of the Thrones of Water. Libra. We have the Princess of Cups. Alongside her, reverse, Princess of the Palace of Floods. Princess of Pentacles here. Jumps in, extra card. Princess of the Echoing Hills. And for the collective, we have Sophia. House number 7, the Goddess of Divine Wisdom. It seems that this has been appropriate energy the entire live stream. This is an immense confirmation in the level up. Going from this Princess of Pentacles, Princess of Cups energy, both being in reverse, to the Queen of Cups energy. Being in reverse meaning that they're around the way out, around the corner. The Queen of Cups is now who you are becoming. Though that princess will always live within you. That younger self will always have a place within your heart, in your roots, in your core. Ace of Pentacles reminds us that everything begins as a seed and blossoms and blooms. Though the apple tree would not be a thing without this tiny little seed that was inside an apple before it. Just like the Queen of Cups would not be anything without all of her experience as the princess and learning how to continue to seek truth and wisdom even from our younger aspect of self. Yes, I'm getting strong inner child healing, timeline regression, perhaps like past life regression energy. I don't really speak on topics like this because it can get pretty woo pretty quickly, but we're talking about it all, so let's get right to it. You can talk to your younger self just like you talk to your future self, just so you can talk to like alternative timeline versions of yourself. I mean, the imagination is an amazing thing. You can literally do whatever you want with it. The Queen of Cups is reminding us, though, that like as we take care of ourselves right here in the now, we are also sending energies to our younger self. Like, for example, one of the best ways that I've been learning how to step into my own personal power in this present moment is by sending love and healing to a younger form of myself that felt lonely or sad or lost, and being like, yo, bro, you just keep moving forward. Like, I'm even doing it right now. You keep doing it. You do it right now, because look where you get. Look where it'll take you. Do not give up. Do not falter. Continue to persist. It's okay to feel sad and worried and scared, but that is not any reason to not continue to persist. And I mean, to me, this is like concepts of like quantum healing and like bringing all of our timelines like back to unity and like sending out healing like across the entirety of the cosmos. Woo! Thank you, Spirit, for opening it up like this. Because like this is really what we're here for. Like in this three-dimensional experience, all we can really do is work with what we got in this now, yeah? However, like this isn't the like this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Even though we've just made it here to the Queen of Cups energy, we were once Princess of Cups, Princess of Pentacles. It's like this is just the beginning. And it's so important to stay grounded in that seat of the student, of the witness, of the beginner. Even as we continue to come from princess to the queen, to the empress, to the goddess, like we still stay humble and grounded and recognize that we have something to learn always. We always have something to teach. We always have something to learn. And we would not be here without each other. We would not be here without each other. And I think that's something that the Queen of Cups is reminding us of, how like water is life. Cups is the element of water. And water itself is life. And the water connects everything. The water is where we all meet. You know, like even out in nature and all the wild animals, the watering hole is typically the one place where there is oftentimes peace. I mean, sometimes there's not. You know, you gotta watch out for crocodiles and alligators sometimes. But oftentimes, there will also be just like immense peace in the watering hole. You'll find, you know, predators and prey all in the same place, especially after a drought. And everybody needs that water. This is a little tangent, but for some reason the intuition wanted to go that direction. And this is, I guess, recognizing that, like, when we listen to our divine wisdom, when we listen to the signs and the synchronicities, we are watering ourselves. We are watering our soul, because, like, those little insights, those little signs along the journey, they provide inspiration and encouragement to keep going. Just like the sun provides insight and inspiration for the plant, for the apple tree to reach up for the sky, to create flowers, to create apples. And so this is where we're being reminded that our water, our intuition, our emotions are one of our greatest guides along this journey. And it's never going to be wrong. There's a reason why we feel what we feel. And it's so important that we allow ourselves a moment to sit with that and to see the divine wisdom within these aspects of our experience. Because these can be the greatest defining factors or guides in our life. Wow, Libra. Thanks for that one. I like that house number 7. May you continue to step into your Queen of Cups energy, honoring yourself as such. May you continue to pour into yourself and listen to your heart and the guidance within and all around thee. And may you communicate from such a space as well. Libra energy, being balanced all the while. Focused. We keep it flowing. Next up, we have house number 8. I like it. We're right now reading for the 12 houses of the Zodiac, for the Scorpio full moon. Sun in Taurus, Moon in Scorpio today, and now we read for house number 8, ruling house of Scorpio. Planet, ruling planet being Pluto. 8th house is death, transformation, as well as marriage. It's the depths, it's the darkness, it's the shadows, it's the behind the scenes. Scorpio energy. It's purity. What's the word for the collective today? Any guidance, any signs, any synchronicities, any words of wisdom, any direction. Let's do this. We cut it, we clear it. Here it is. Lolly has a Scorpio moon. Solid. I have a Scorpio rising personally. Let us see if these words have any messages, any clarity, signs, or synchronicities for the collective. Solid energy, dudes. For the full moon, for the Scorpio house, Scorpio full moon, we get the moon card. I like it. I like it. Pisces, ruler of the flux and the reflux, the moon here for you. We have here Queen of Cups once again, this time in the draw, in reverse. Queen of the Thrones of the Waters. We have Queen of Wands here. Queen of the Thrones of Flames in reverse in the root. 2 queens in the moon. And the goddess for you, we have Maya, the goddess of illusion. Reverse. This is awesome. This is really awesome personally, and I'm just gonna like lean into this energy because that seems like what is really happening right now. It's been a while since I've done a collective all 12 houses readings. I've kind of been taking some time for myself as an individual lately, listening to my moon, my Pisces ass self, and it's really awesome to be able to show up here right now and still see the magic working out perfectly. and the signs and the synchronicities showing us that we are collapsing all of these timelines, all of these ways of being that are no longer in resonance with who we are becoming, us in our purity, us in our truth. You see, Scorpio, 8th house, not only being the house of death, it is also the house of marriage, the house of transformation. And we are putting an end to all sorts of lingering patterns, any threads that are just hanging loose, any loose threads. We're tying them off, we're burning them, we're singeing them. And we're marrying together all of our aspects of self that are true, all of the fragments that had been maybe cast across the cosmos, and we've remembered who we are and why we're here. And now is the time to learn how to braid our personal Queen of Wands and Queen of Cups energy. That's our fire and our earth, learning how to be our avatar. You see, our body is our avatar. We are the soul who operates the body. We are the soul, the player who gets to operate the avatar. The moon is the connection that provides us that ability to do this whole process. The moon is the middle ground. The moon is the one who takes all of the light and then siphons it into your personal connection. Is how I'm learning how to receive it as a piece of technology up in the sky. Because all of this is illusion. This three-dimensional reality, it's illusory. It's always changing. It's always evolving. Only that which is true is eternal. And that which is true remains. And your soul is eternal. Your soul cannot be tainted. It cannot be burned. It cannot drown. It cannot die or be born. Your soul is beyond this limiting three-dimensional illusory experience. And the moon card reminds us that this is really what life is all about, learning how to bring our soul into this world, learning how to stay grounded and firm in this space, learning how to listen to our learning how to listen to our intuition and act from inspiration. See, intuition is the cups, inspiration is the wands, and recognizing that our water can actually be the fuel to our fire. Our emotions can actually be the fuel to our actions. And I think that this is where a lot of times we get lost in the three dimension, because we are taught, water always beats fire. Water squashes fire. But that's not the truth in the metaphysics, because in metaphysical terms, water is your emotion, it's your intuition. Your fire is your inspiration, it's your insight, it's your action. And more often than not, our intuition and our emotions inspire our actions. And so this is where it's so important to be clear, to be emotionally intelligent, to ask, okay, why do I feel this way? Where does this emotion come from? Is this from my core truth and what I feel and know in my soul, or is this something that has been programmed into me? Because that's something we also have to take into consideration, considering we're in a world that is consistently conditioning the populace to think and behave a very specific, myopic, and limited way. Roll it back. You can catch the recording of this live stream on my YouTube later today. Our emotions and our intuitions inspire our actions. And this is why it's so important to be clear within our emotions and asking where they come from and why they exist, so we can utilize them as a means of stepping into our truth. That is it. The base, that's what I'm coming to as an individual. At the end of the day, it's all about just standing and living in one's truth. Because the truth is eternal. Everything else is illusory. The truth does not change, and that's the truth. And the funny thing is, change is the only constant, and that's also the truth under the condition of the three-dimensional realm, right? And this is where it's like reminds us that, life on Earth is paradoxical, and that's where I'm saying, our water and our fire actually go hand in hand. This is where it's so important to recognize that, to not allow either or, to not allow our emotions or our inspiration to steal the show for too long. Because if we're operating from an unconscious, emotionally charged space, if we're acting from a egoic, action-driven space, then ultimately we're not going to be honoring our eternal truth. Oftentimes we have to go through those cycles in order to dissolve those energies. I'm not in any way, shape, or form projecting shame onto anybody who's going through those chapters. It's just being reminded to slow down and to return to, okay, why do I actually do this? And that's more queen energy than princess energy, if we're just going to be honest. Thanks, fam, just for listening to me ramble about that nonsense. I appreciate it, Scorpio. That was an awesome reading. I dig it. And just an end on it, I feel like Scorpio is the most fiery water sign. I think that's so appropriate as well. Underneath this full moon, we're being reminded, yeah, you feel it. You feel it. And the full moon is a perfect time to obliterate, to literally cast fire and to remove or rebuke whatever is no longer serving you, to let go of whatever it is that you're ready to release. Groovy. We like it. We keep it flowing. Next tonight we have Sagittarius. House number 9. Sun, Moon, Ascendants, Sagittarius. For you, my friends. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion. Jupiter is currently in Taurus. The Sun and Uranus and Jupiter are all in Taurus this month, and I don't know if we'll ever see an alignment like that again. So we're seeing immense expansion on the collective overall, as well as in our own personal ways of relating and approaching and expanding throughout our life. More definition, more clarity, more power, more purpose. I'm just seeing like immense maturation, stepping deeper into one's values and core truths. Sagittarius, it's insight, it's divine wisdom, it's guidance, it's that aha spark of inspiration. Yes. House number 9 for you, my friends. Any insight for you. Let us see what the cards have to say. Any guidance, any clarity, any signs or synchronicities. Let's do this. And if you can hear me clearly, would you mind clicking the screen a couple times just to keep this fresh on the feed? Do want to let you know if you ever want to check out the recording of this live stream, it'll be up on my YouTube this evening. You can go follow over there. It's the same as here. Zen the Alchemist is linked in the bio as well. You can also subscribe on the Instagram if you want to check out things there. And we're going to keep flowing. Next up, Sagittarius. Solid. The Fool here. In the root. Spirit of the ether. Right side up for the collective. The Fool. Fortitude here. Number 8. The card of Strength. Daughter of the Flaming Sword for the collective. Fortitude. Alongside the Fool. And the 8 of Wands here in reverse. Lord of Swiftness. Mercury in Sagittarius. For Sagittarius we have the 8 of Wands. The goddess number 48. 9th house, Spider-Woman, the goddess of co-creation for the collective. I'm getting energy of new beginnings, but from a space of the wisdom that you now hold. See, the Fool oftentimes represents an individual who's just starting a journey. This is the 0 card in the major arcana of the tarot. This is somebody who's like ready to start something new. This is like Avatar Aang or Finn the Human, or anybody who's ready to go on an adventure, even Frodo. The Fool is an individual who's ready to embark on a quest. However, with the theme of today's readings and the energy that I'm receiving from these cards, it's more so like it's not the first journey. It's like a new journey, and we're tapping into this full energy once again, but now from a more mature, focused, and experienced perspective. And now we're more intentional, we're more focused of how we are co-creating this experience rather than just like being at the whim of the experience. And we're being called and challenged to fortify, to strengthen our commitment to our path, and to stay focused on honoring the fool within always. The fool is never anybody to be shamed. See, the fool in the tarot is not somebody who's like foolish, someone who's an idiot. No, it's somebody who is simply, they might seem idiotic to somebody who's like convinced that you must work a 9 to 5 and live a traditional life. But the fool is somebody who's actually out there really enjoying themselves, who's listening to their heart and the whims. And now we're recognizing that this is actually a lifelong aspect of the journey. And I feel on a collective level we are shifting and swiftly altering our approach and our experience and what it is that we wish to step into throughout this life, what it is that we wish to create, rather than just like being cogs in a machine ultimately. And it takes immense fortitude to do this. Though I feel that now is the perfect time, and beneath this full moon is also the perfect time to remove any doubts, any fears, any worries that might be holding you back from taking the leap. Yeah, because that Eight of Wands energy, that Lord of Swiftness, that's like blessings, that's like excitement, that's like moving around quickly but also grounded. And then alongside that Fortitude card, it's like stepping into one's power, one's strengths. Like once we walk the path of the Fool, these things are around the corner for us. It could be spontaneity, definitely being in the moment, absolutely, yeah. At the same time, appreciation for the energy, absolutely, all of it. It's very important to balance it out, 100%. But at the same time, it doesn't hurt to have a vision. It doesn't hurt to have a direction or an idea or a goal. You know, if that's what your heart was wanting to you right now, you can also have that on the path. But all the while, you know, you can be in the moment and you can be spontaneous at the same time. I think that's kind of where this energy is coming in, where this like more matured level. Or just like because you've gone through such deep life experiences. Like for example, Avatar Aang is not the same character from episode 1 to the last season. You know, he matures, he evolves, and he grows. Even Sokka, I think Sokka is a really good metaphor there if we're going to bring an Avatar character into play. Because he's, you know, a very foolish, playful character, and at the same time, by the end of the series and all the life experience, he still has that. He's still very young. However, he now thinks a lot like what a leader would think like, and he leads from that space rather. And I think this is just so important to recognize where persistence is everything. We must persist. We must stay committed. We must stay devoted. We must continue to walk the path. And the beautiful thing about the path is it will always be there. The more we walk it, the more clear it becomes. If we don't walk it, it'll start to overgrow a little bit, but that doesn't mean we can't clear it once again or make it new. Thank you, Sag. We're taking our time today. I like these readings. We're going to keep it flowing. Up next, we have Capricorn house number 10, making our way. Appreciate y'all's patience. Thanks for being here with me. Let's get to it. Capricorn, 10th house, Sun, Moon Ascendants. If you like that Sag energy reading, go ahead and say what's good in the comments if you wish. Click the screen a couple times. Up next, we have Capricorn house number 10. If 9th house is the expansion, the plans for the build, 10th house is the build. 10th house is the foundation. Nice. And just like that, I cut the deck and we get card number 10, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Emperor there. 10th house ruled by Capricorn. This is law. This is order. This is judgment. This is time. Cardinal, Earth, Capricorn. Any words for you today? ruled by Saturn. Any Capricorn placements, Sun, Moon, Ascendants for the collective. We cut the deck. We clear it. We let it rest. Yes. 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 Nice. I like it. I like it, Capricorn. Let's do this. We'll start with the first card here. We have the High Priestess, right side up. The only one right side up on the table, the Princess of the Silver Sun, the High Priestess. And this is the foundation that we're stepping into as a collective. You see, we have the King of Pentacles here in reverse. This is the time of the year that we are in, Aries to Taurus. We just started Taurus season a couple days ago. Left Aries season. Now we're here in Taurus underneath the full moon. We have the Sun card for you, Capricorn, house number 10, Lord of the Fire of the World. And the Goddess for the collective, we have Yostre, the Goddess of Spring, the Goddess of New Beginnings for the collective. As I mentioned, 10th house is the foundation, and with the High Priestess being the only energy here right side up, I'm receiving the remembrance that the future is feminine. Mother Earth is woken, and she's ready to reclaim her world. And she is the highest priestess there is, ultimately. Mother Earth is a magical, amazing individual. But she would not settle for anything less than amazing and magical. And this is where we're seeing on a collective level people tapping into their own personal power so they can stand alongside Mother Earth and initiate these new beginnings, as they say. But it's really an ancient future is what I perceive. Because that's what Earth was intended for ultimately, for everybody to be here in the heart space. The Earth is the heart chakra of our solar system, if not the universe. And learning how to embrace everything with an open heart, just like the Earth embraces everything. And just like the sun does too. And when you learn how to tap into your own personal light, this is how you can then shine your light like the sun does. Unapologetically, onto everything. The sun shines on everything. It doesn't just choose different parts of the planes to shine on. And this is where we learn how to cultivate our own personal connection with the High Priestess energy within, and going and connecting with Mother Earth can help you do that. Sitting out in nature can help you be reminded of your own personal stillness and your power. Learning how to listen to this voice within, and learning how to lead from this space is where you will then cultivate and create your power. Learning how to build this as your base, the frequency which you wake up into. Not something that you strive for, but something that is based. And it's really a committed process and practice of self-care and self-realization and developing your personal groundedness within. And there's immense amount of practices and paths and ways in which we can go about this, though ultimately your heart will teach you or learn or lead you in the way that will assist in returning to a semblance of unity, of stillness, of being whole within. I think that's really what life is all about, and that's what we're stepping into as a collective. You've probably heard the Age of Aquarius. The Age of Aquarius is all about everybody stepping into their own personal power and seeing that we all have the capacity to be kings or queens, gods, goddesses here, co-creating life together. There's no power over, we work together. And this is a very optimistic energy I want to speak into the collective beneath this Capricorn reading, beneath this full moon right now, as we continue to dissolve any ways of being that are no longer in resonance with this High Priestess energy. Learning how to stay grounded and embodied, and from this space, everything will play out perfect. It's already happening, it's written. Now we show up and we surrender and we play our role to the best of our ability. Groovy. Thanks, Capricorn. I like this reading. As the mug says, more self-love. Cheers to ya. We're gonna keep it flowing. As best we can, that's all we can do, yeah? Doing our best to do our best. Every breath, nothing more, nothing less. We keep it flowing with Aquarius. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendants. House number 11. We're almost there. House number 11, Aquarius. For you, my friends, ruled by Uranus. Like I mentioned, Uranus is also in Taurus with Jupiter and the Sun. This is the collective. If Capricorn is the base, the foundation, like the dance floor, Aquarius is everybody standing on the base, the foundation, dancing on the dance floor. Any words for my humans out there, for the collective, for life itself, any words of wisdom, any direction, any signs, any synchronicities, any guidance, any clarity? Let us see what these words are today. Hey Shell, what's good, dude? We're currently reading all 12 houses for the collective. Right now we are shuffling for Aquarius. Let us see what these cards have to say today. House number 11. Any insight? Any messages? This card has made many appearances tonight. Perhaps Scorpio season's gonna be perhaps Gemini season's gonna be a big one. We have a Scorpio full moon right now. All these cards in reverse for the collective. Aquarius, house number 11, we have the 10 of Swords. Lord of Ruin, third time he's made an appearance today. 10 of Swords. 2 of Swords, also reversed. Lord of Peace, restored. 9 of Cups here. Lord of Material Happiness, 9 of Cups. And Nyx, the Goddess of Secrets, here for the collective. All this in reverse. It's so funny, but it's so silly and simple. I'm really getting just Bob singing in the back of my mind, don't worry, be happy. Which is, like, I know not easy at all. Sometimes. Though the more that we can just, like, surrender and let go and just trust and lean into the flow, the more at peace we can be and we can restore. Smile and wave, boys. That's it. No, but it definitely seems that there's a lot shifting, a lot coming to ruin, a lot of collapse, a bottom out basically for society itself. I'm going to be honest, but the mainstream narrative isn't going to paint that picture to the populace, because then their reviews will go down. So they'll lose even more viewers. So like, I mean, I'm not religious, but I consider myself a man of God, and I believe that there's like this prophecy playing out in this life, and that we all have a role to play. And I think a really big part of this reading is just trusting in that process, the unfolding of the story, and like asking, okay, like what role do I have to play, and what can I do? So at least that's all I can do. But anything that is out of my control, worrying about it, beating myself up, shaming or guilting myself, that's not going to help anything. Learning how to fill up our cup first, because we can't give from an empty cup, and how important it is to not be so concerned about the things that are out of our control, but the things that are in our control, it's important that we show up to the best of our ability. And that's a very fine balance. Though I think it's kind of a secret to happiness. Trusting the process is literally what life is all about, yeah. Serenity prayer, absolutely. Exactly that one. Exactly that one. Lord, give me the strength to change that which I can. The patience to accept the things that I can't. And the wisdom to know the difference between the two. And then all we can do is just surrender to the flow and trust in the process from there. Thanks, Aquarius. Very simple, very sweet, very important message this day. That ain't no secret. That's something I was listening to a podcast the other day. Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan, I think, were talking about we live in a world with no privacy and immense secrecy. At least a society, not necessarily a world. And I feel like a lot of that is dissolving. At least that's what something feels like within me. I'm just gonna keep kindling that flame. Anyway, secrets are no fun unless you tell everyone. We're gonna keep it flowing. For the collective. House number 12 today, Pisces. We made it. We made it, Pisces. Sun, moon, ascendants. It's currently 9:18 a.m. out here. Any words of wisdom, any guidance, any clarity, any signs of synchronicities for house number 12. 12th house represents the space beyond space and time. It's the place beyond the imagination. It's the realm of the soul, the divine. It is everything and nothing all at once, ruled by Neptune, the planet of the dreams. Today, for Pisces, any signs, any synchronicities, any words of wisdom, any direction. Sun, moon, ascendant, wherever you have a Neptune, wherever you have a 12th house placement. Let's see what the message is. We cut the deck, we clear it, we let it rest, we shuffle these cards. Welcome in, welcome in. If you're just now getting here, we are currently reading for the collective, all 12 houses. If you're just getting here, you can check out the recording on my YouTube later this evening. Right now, we have a reading for Pisces, house number 12. And I love this energy for you. I might be a little bit biased since I have like 4 or 5 placements in Pisces. 5th house at least. Let's get to it then, shall we? We'll start here. The Emperor. Sun of the morning for Pisces. Right side up in the draw. We have the Ace of Wands here as well. Lord of the roots of the powers of fire. Pisces for you. The Emperor and the Ace of Wands in the draw, and the Seven of Wands here in reverse. Lord of Valor. Seven of Wands, Lord of Valor. Reverse in the root, and the Goddess of Victory. The Goddess of Ambition, Nike, for the collective. It's a marathon, not a race, my friends. And that's what Pisces knows. See, Pisces, what I'm learning, we're really like turtles, bro. Just slow and steady. Like, that rabbit, I'll follow him for some time. I'll follow the white rabbit for a while. But slow and steady wins the race, buddy. I'm gonna operate outside of time. I'm gonna do my own thing. The victory's already there, laden. It's already written in stone, and it's becoming more and more clear, I think, for the collective of who's gonna win this battle. And it's already been, we've known that from like every story, and at the same time, the ones who are projecting through the mainstream narrative, or I guess not even so the mainstream narrative much anymore, because they're collapsing right before our very eyes. Like we've run on a system for a couple hundred years that was enslaving the souls and the bodies and the minds of, I would say, 99.9% of the populace, and then convincing them that you need to do this, this, and that in order to be a contributing member of our society, in order to make money, to raise a family, to be good in the church, and all the while at the expense of all of this innocence. And I feel like next year is going to be really different. I don't know how to describe it. We're seeing immense shifts on the collective level, exponentially, rapidly, and there's going to be a lot of challenges, a lot of pain, a lot of transformation, though ultimately the truth will always remain. And so this is where, as an individual, the best thing that we can do as individuals is align with our own personal truth and step into our own personal connection with the divinity within and all around thee. You can call it God if you want to. I know that oftentimes that's very triggering, especially for people who experience trauma in the church. Though personally, I firmly believe that we're like here for this battle, this spiritual battle that has been playing out for time and millennia, and we're really starting to witness a shift in the dynamic. Like, what a time it is to be alive. And at the same time, like, we probably do this like every lifetime. At least, like, for myself, I can speak. For myself, I know my soul only inhabits a physical form when it's times like this. And I can only say that with conviction is because, like, I've been inquiring within for a while now. And that's really where we learn how to step into our own emperor energy, by tuning into that light within, that spark within one's heart, and knowing that you have one just by being one, by being whole, by being complete, by being true to yourself. You've achieved victory. And this is what a valor, a person who walks with this energy, how they step into life. Knowing that they are one, that they are whole, that they don't need anything to complete them. They don't look for validation. They don't look for external means of proof or evidence. If a sign or a synchronicity presents itself, they won't reject it. They'll probably say thank you, but it's not like I need evidence in order to believe. I need to see it in order to believe. Like, no, Pisces is beyond that. Pisces is the realm that you cannot see. Pisces is the realm of the inconceivable. And this is why it's so important to lean into the great mystery, ultimately. As the wise ones tell us, and have been sharing for some time. There's his story, and then there's Ms. story. The Ms. story is where all the magic happens. And his story is in the past. We're leaving that shit behind. So may you move forward with ambition and valor and focus. May you see yourself as this emperor that you are. Learning how to keep your candle, your flame lit and stoked, preserve and protect yourself, creating boundaries where necessary, and continuing to persist and prevail by any means necessary. Yeah, Pisces. I love this energy for you. I love this energy for you, Pisces. I feel like you're finally starting to see yourself as the way other people see you. Thanks, house number 12. I like it. I like it. This is good energy. We had some really solid readings today. This is longer than we typically do, but it was really good. We had some really drawn out, important messages. So if you'd like to check out the recording, once I am able to download this, I will upload this live stream to my YouTube tonight, this afternoon, this evening, after it processes. I really appreciate this. Thanks for creating this space with me. Thanks for sticking around. Some really awesome messages. Good insight today. We're going to flow forward. We're going to close this live stream so we can save it and record it and put it on the YouTube. And I think we might check out live stream again. I think we might just open it right back up and see if anybody wants some personal readings. So if you would like a personal reading today, you want to jump in the queue and you want to be in the next live stream, we'll check in. We'll see if things are going on over there. Be happy for it. Either way, thanks for being here. So much love to each and every one of you. Stay blessed as always. Absolutely. Take care of yourself. Drink good water, think good thoughts, eat good food. Go look in the mirror and say, I love you. And until next time, Godspeed, my dudes.